The financial literacy of Americans is trending towards some troubling realities. According to CNBC, Americans are struggling to manage their finances. Only 57% of American adults are financially literate, according to the Milken Institute. Jake Hoffart is a financial literacy educator. He's highly motivated to assist individuals and business owners to be their best selves and achieve their financial dreams. Hoffart is a people-centered person who strongly believes that achieving financial freedom allows all of us to permit the best of our character traits to rise to the surface to maximize our fullest potential. He joined me this week to have a conversation about achieving financial freedom and the avenues of opportunities to greatness that provides. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Welcome you to the program, and I'm super excited to be with you today to learn all about your journey in the finance, buddy. Great to see you this afternoon, and thank you so very much for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me. It was kind of cool the way we got to connect, and obviously now I'm on the show with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Jake, I know that you're on a mission to help people sort of make better financial decisions and give them practical and valuable financial education. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about all the great work that you do, buddy.
Of course, yeah. I mean, so I think, and I've obviously have been through it, right? During school and during life, most of us, unless you hop into the field of finances, and even some of us in this field don't necessarily know everything going on in the world. But there's a lot of basic things that we aren't taught that I believe we could have been taught at least in high school, and definitely should have been taught at college if we went that far. But there's a lot of basic fundamental things that happen in the finance world that if we were just taught early on in life, we would have a much different understanding and we'd be in much different places as we get farther in our life. So one of the things I love to do is just educate people on everything that I know, at least everything that I've come across. And then all the basics that just getting started and doing something will make exponentially large differences in your life, as opposed to waiting too long and then now having to do a lot more to play that catch-up game. Yeah. So that's kind of where I've come from, the education standpoint.
Absolutely, buddy. And to that point, I'm wondering your thoughts on whether the school system, buddy, has to do a better job of teaching basic math skills instead of some of the advanced math courses that they offer, why they are important. I'm curious to know your thoughts on whether you think basic math skills need to be taught more in school.
Definitely. I think a lot of, especially the basics in finances, of just learning about compounding and getting started and what that does for your money. I mean, it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division sort of stuff. It's very basic, but it's learning the concepts to be able to implement that, as opposed to coming in and, hey, we learned algebra 2 and calculus and all this stuff that as soon as we're done with those classes, unless we're going to go be engineers or we're going to go into that specific field, I can forget about it, right? But everyone deals with money. Everyone has money in their life at some point, and they need to know how to best maximize their strategies to be able to someday, stop working, right? That's everyone's goal. But we don't teach that. We teach you, hey, I can figure out how tall this tree is based off the shadow and the time. Why is that necessary for me unless I'm an arborist, right? So yeah, I think we've done everyone a disservice in not teaching them some fundamentals.
And tell me, how do you think we better achieve financial freedom?
How we can better achieve financial freedom for ourselves?
Yeah. What do you think the principles are of achieving financial freedom?
So one of the principles, I mean, obviously education is big because you can't go out and have access to everything out there. Sometimes you have to go to a professional to get that. But going and actually seeking out the knowledge, I think, or having someone in your life who's willing to bring that knowledge to you will help us out. Because at the end of the day, especially here in the United States, we're taught, go to school, get a job, get a 401k, put what you can in there, but no one teaches us like what all these fees are and what the consequences of taxes later on down the road are and what we actually get to bring out of those funds. And sometimes we're not even taught how to use those funds later after we've built them up, right? So if you don't want to go spend all that time trying to figure that stuff out, find someone who's going to help you do that, right? It's worth some money here and there to bridge the gap in terms of the knowledge and the time frame it takes to actually learn that stuff and bring it into your life so that you can have the same experiences as some of the wealthiest people in the world, because they've gone out and they've either hired the people to help them or they've spent the time learning and have the resources to be able to get there.
And Jacob, tell me, I asked you earlier about financial freedom, but I'm wondering if you think there's a difference between financial freedom and financial clarity. How do you define financial clarity?
So for me, I guess between the two of those, right? And everyone has a different vision of what their financial freedom is. And I think the clarity side is breaking down and coming to the point where what does that look like for you? Some people it is having a bunch of money. Okay, but why do you want to have millions of dollars? Because not everyone needs millions of dollars by any means. But like at the end of the day, like why do you want millions of dollars? There's a feeling behind what that money gets you. That's really the root of why finances are important to you, right? For some people, it's having the cars and the boats and having a lot of money is their identity. Some people want that money so that they can donate to charity or start foundations that they can help better the world, right? Or they have family members that they want to take care of. So freedom and clarity, I think, go hand in hand, but you need to figure out like what is your purpose behind money, what it is that you really need money for to get you to, okay, now I'm free. Because once you know what that is, you can then shoot and go, this is what I need to do to have the freedom that's going to allow me to have the life that I want to live, right? Because not everyone, like I said, not everyone needs to have this big flashy life. Some people want enough money so that they can go buy a little piece of property and relax.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jacob, tell me, I'm wondering also, when you look at connecting a full financial picture, what does that mean to you to put all of the dots together and really connect the financial picture?
Of course. So, and kind of back to that last point, like everyone's at a different point in life, like, right? Some people make $50,000, $60,000 a year. Some people make $1 million a year, right? So to connect everyone's picture, because there is a way everyone can get wealthy if they're dedicated and they know what they want and they make a choice to follow something to get there, right? That, hey, and to me, connecting that full picture is what is the end goal, right? Going back to the clarity side of what does money mean to you? What is your purpose behind money? Okay, let's get you to that point, because maybe you only need, $50,000, $60,000 really to live on, and that gives you a very comfortable life, and that gives you what you want. For some people, it's 100,000. Some people, it's 2. But to connect that picture is then going, hey, we're going to contribute money, for us, right? We have the 401k program in the United States, which is the tax deferral program. So it's putting a certain amount of money there, putting a certain amount of money in, like a private reserve account that's going to be after tax dollars. It's going to grow tax free. You can pull it out tax free. It's allowing yourself to properly structure. Some of it's buying real estate, some of it's buying pieces of land, some of it's buying businesses, right? Bringing everything together so that at the end of the day, you have the equity and have the money that's going to be able to pay you that money machine that's going to be able to pay you for the rest of your life. And you no longer have the stresses and worries of what if the market goes backwards? What if, right? You have the clarity now to go, I have my financial freedom and my total picture is clear.
And Jake, I'm going to ask you about the picture behind you, because I know that one of your passions is mood financial, where you help people with financial strategies and merit-based planning. So tell me about why it's important to you to have that sort of a reminder behind every day you come into work. But tell me about the sign and the company itself.
So yeah, we are Mod Financial. We've kind of built our program around airplanes a little bit, and one of our slogans is "Where dreams take flight." Right? We help you come and find that dream. Kind of like I said before, is finding really what you want money for. Right? So then we come in and we help you develop your blueprint, which then gives you the plan for the runway so that eventually you can take flight and you have that financial freedom that you were looking for, that not everyone sits down and finds at the end of the day, right? With merit planning, as we break it down, right, is mortgage, estate, retirement, real estate, insurance, and tax planning, right? As a company, I don't do mortgages. I don't service mortgages for people, but I have people that will do that for you if it makes sense, right? I'm not an estate planner. I'm not an attorney. So I don't go write up those contracts to, give you your trust and your estate. I do the retirement planning. I do pieces of retirement, of real estate. I don't go and buy and sell homes for you. I'm not buying apartment complexes, but we do something called land banking that we do in-house. But in terms of the real estate, we help people, get into a home or find a big project for them to be a part of so that they can collect the appreciation and cash flow. We do the insurance side, so we will help people with life insurance and annuities and things like that. And then tax planning, I'm not the CPA, so I don't help you save taxes, or I'm not going to tell you the best strategy to write stuff off and save taxes, but I do future tax planning. I look at, hey, this is what our money's doing, and in the future, if taxes stay the same, like, this is going to be the consequences of your money, right? So we bring all that together because most people have, right, the 6 different things. Most people have 6 different people doing each of those things for them. So then you have this big plan that's messy because none of those people are talking together. None of them are working together to give you that singular plan that helps. It's 6 different things shooting 6 different ways, and they each have their own objective with that, right? So we brought that in-house. We go, hey, we're going to help you plan with your mortgage, because a lot of people grow equity in their homes. We've seen over the last couple of years, and it's stuck. How do we make that equity usable? And it's still going to grow. And as long as we're not making you pay more for the home, like, let's go do something with it that's going to grow. Historically, homes haven't risen the way they are right now, but let's use that capital and make it liquid so that you have access to it if you need it. Also, let's go put into something that if the market reverses on homes, we're not losing capital, right? In terms of the estate planning, I think everyone needs a trust or an estate, because at the end of the day, we shouldn't necessarily own anything as individuals. We should have an entity own thing so that it separates us for liability reasons. And as well as when we're passing it on, there's a strict plan of, hey, I have kids, or I have a charity I want to give to, or I have nieces and nephews, that there's a plan for every single dollar at the end of our lives, right? In terms of the retirement planning, we obviously do the retirement planning. I help you, hey, this is our end goal. This is what we need to do to hit that goal and make sure that you're going to be on track, right? Like I said, in real estate, I'm not a realtor, so I won't buy and sell the homes for you, but I'll help you set up the plan to get you into a home. We do land banking, like I said. We buy, pre-developed land. We do a lot of it in California right now, but it's a piece that you own intangible assets, and we can't make more land right now, but it's a piece that's been appreciating historically very, very well. And there's a reason the wealthiest people in the world own land in their portfolios, right? So we bring that to our clients and allow them to be a part of that. The insurance, I think is at the end of the day, if you own any assets, I think you should have some insurance because it's just a protection. It's a warm blanket at the end of the night that allows your family to sleep, that if for some reason you're on your way to work one day and something happens to you, your family's going to be taken care of, right? And then the tax planning, like I said, not a CPA, I won't help you save taxes today, but I will help you maneuver what taxes will look like in the future in terms of your overall portfolio, so that you're not going to the government at the end of the day and being married to them forever, right? If we plan you properly, I know you guys have a different structure in Canada, but we have the IRS, right? The Internal Revenue Service. They want us to be married to them for the rest of our lives. And that's kind of what we've done with 401ks. We actually teach people, if we can structure things properly and we can plan properly to use that money later, that we can divorce the IRS and stop paying income tax. I'm not going to say we're going to get rid of all taxes, because we still have sales tax, we still have property tax, city tax, different things like that. But our biggest tax is on our incomes, and we can technically divorce the IRS in terms of our income tax. So that's kind of our merit planning, long drawn out version of it.
Yeah, it sounds like you help a lot of people gain like financial independence and diversification. So it goes into my next question, which has to do with how important do you think it is to create generational wealth? And based on your last answer, I'm also curious to know, what's your definition of becoming financially diverse where you have multiple streams of income?
Oh, of course. And so that's another thing that we talk about, right? As I'm sure you've done your research on that. When you're becoming financially diverse, right? Some people think, oh, I've got a 401k and I've got a mutual fund, or I'm in the S&P 500 and I've got 500 stocks. I'm diverse. And you're like, okay, that's cool. But if the market goes up, your account goes up. If the market goes down, your account goes down. How diverse are you really, right? You're stuck in one tool that we have for building wealth. And it's, to me, it's not true diversity. That's where we start talking about, yes, you should be in stock bonds. Mutual funds are questionable to me. Be in annuities, be in cash value life insurance, be in real estate, be in land. I mean, if you want to get real risky and talk crypto, I'm not a huge fan, but some people want to be diversified in crypto because it is an asset class nowadays, right? So being in all kinds of asset classes, not just being like, oh, I'm in the stock market, because to me, that's one asset class. So being diverse and creating those multiple streams of income is, hey, I've got my 401k, that's a stream of income eventually, right? I've got my cash value life insurance, that's going to be a stream of income that's very secure. You're never going to lose money in that. Well, depending on which product you're in. And also has that security on the back end that if something happens to me, my family's going to be taken care of if I don't make it, my projected lifetime, right? In terms of real estate, buying real estate, we've seen over the last few years, real estate has been a really good diversity tool for people to grow some wealth in, right? So using real estate, because also if you can get into like a multifamily or something like that with some of your assets, that will actually pay you a paycheck for the rest of your life too, on top of growing it, right? Owning businesses, one of our things is we teach people actually how to either be referral partners or be in our business and make that a piece of what you do in terms of growing that income stream, right? So real estate, the stock market, insurance, owning your own business, 4 or 5 different ways of creating this overall plan that will then you have not just your 401k paying you at some point, right? You have a built-in pension, you have real estate, you have, like I said, 4 or 5 different things that are paying you so that at one point you're not reliant on one thing going right at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Jake, I'm also fascinated to ask you about how do you think financial happiness, clarity, and freedom are interconnected? And what I mean by that is when you're financially secure, your stress level goes down. So how do you think financial happiness and being financially sort of conservative or smart are interconnected?
Oh, definitely. One of the things we teach people how to do is put some money away and allow it to grow when the market's doing well. And the market's doing bad, as we've been watching over the last couple of months. The market's down and people are like, well, I'm losing 10-20% of my account values. We show people how to shelter themselves from, in bad years you don't take losses, but in up years you can actually get some gains. So you can sleep really well at night knowing, I'm not in this crazy volatile market. I think you should be a little bit in the market, but not everything, because like you said, when you have that happiness and clarity, and another thing is creating that plan, right? If you have a plan and you know the end goal and you know what it's going to take to achieve it, that helps first off, because a lot of people are just shooting darts in the dark and they have no idea where it's going or where it's landing, because they don't ever sit down with someone. They don't ever do the homework themselves to make sure that at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing is right. So they have this financial stress at all times, right? So if you can get a plan, if you can figure out how to diverse properly, and if you can have someone who's helping you along the way, create that, you can wake up in the middle of the night and the market could be going backwards, but like, oh no, I'm still fine. Like, I'm going to be good. I'm protected. I don't really care about what's going on economically, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to be fine. That alleviates a ton of stress, and that allows you to continue to live your life and focus on things that, maybe it's your family, maybe it is your job or your business. Like, you can go focus on the things that you want to focus on, rather than being stressed because, oh, the market's going backwards and I'm losing money as I'm pulling it. And now I'm not going to be able to catch up. And now I'm not going to have a retirement for 20 years. I got to go back to work somewhere, right? Who wants to go back to work when they're done? So creating that plan for freedom helps relieve a lot of stress, that then you have that, happiness at the end of the day that people, I believe, are looking for. They just don't know how to get there.
Yeah, and Jake, I know that you live out there in Scottsdale, buddy. So when you're not helping people with their financial planning, how do you define fun, buddy?
Oh, for me, I love to golf. So I go out.
Shocking, you live out in Arizona.
I live in one of the golf capitals of the world. Yeah, so I really like to golf. I have originally from California, but I have a couple brothers that are out here as well, from a pretty big family. So I go hang out with my brothers. Well, I've only been here for about a year now, but starting to create a friend group and going, people that I can go, we go hang out by the pool, or we go out boating. Not a big hiker, but every once in a while someone can talk me into it. But yeah, golfing is probably one of my top hobbies that I like to do when I'm not working. Actually putting together a charity tournament for one of our foundations here the end of fall, so that for me that's fun, as well as I'm raising money for a good cause through a sport and activity that I like to do.
Hey, fantastic! Tell me, if people want to support the charity fundraiser, buddy, how do they do that?
So the charity is called the Hennessy Dog Foundation. We are here to help support, first responders, veterans, people of those sorts, with their animals, obviously their dogs. That, at some point in life, people do go through hardships, or, your animal's expenses are going to be super expensive, or the transportation to get to a specific facility, and you just can't make that happen, right? So we got planes, right? So we partnered with our plane company and different things that we will give out grants for either the transportation to get your animal to go have that service done, or the grant to have it paid, because at the end of the day, people their animals are their companions. They're their family, right? And no one likes to watch family pass away if you don't have to. So we've come up with this foundation that helps people pay for that kind of stuff and allows them to continue to have their family around, even if they might not be able to afford it because of a hardship. So the Hennessy Dog Foundation, we are actually still in the process. We're finalizing everything right now. But if you go to Mod Financial, you can read up on some of our through the foundation, and eventually we will have a link to donate. But in terms of the charity, that the golf tournament, that'll be coming up in October, and I'm starting up sponsorship levels and stuff like that. I know for Canadian listeners, maybe not the sponsorship there, but if there's any American listeners that want to be a part of, this golf tournament and get some sponsorship dollars out there, obviously reach out to me. And eventually it'll hit the internet everywhere that we will have this tournament and for donations through that.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you the best of luck with the tournament, buddy. And my final question for you today has to do with your own individual and personal legacy and how you want that to be defined.
So that's a good one. I've actually been doing a lot of thinking on that lately. My personal legacy, I've got a big family. For us, I want to be able to, one of my big goals is to go buy a ranch. Right now I'm thinking Wyoming, but I want to go buy a ranch to where like my family can go and build homes and raise cattle and do all that kind of stuff. My sister wants to be a rancher. So bring in that legacy of family to where we can have a place where all of us can come a couple times a year and really be together because we live all over the place. But then for me, it's helping charities. I'm a big one on hunger for sure. I think world hunger is a big issue. So donating to world hunger organizations, going and doing charity work for them, whether it's, just going and packing up boxes and making meals. So be able to give to organizations like that can help them obviously alleviate the world of hunger stress on the personal level. So a lot of philanthropy and then, bringing my family together is my personal legacy I'm looking for. Professional legacy is everyone wants to work with those high net worth individuals because, that's where the money is, right? I feel like there's a lot of people in this world that don't seek out professional help in terms of the financial side because they think it's going to be super expensive, or like these guys, they're just going to come after me because they're going to gouge me for money and fees and all this stuff. So my model is to come in. I've created a subscription model where I charge it's $10 a month. You're a client of mine for as long as we're together, and unless I'm doing asset management stuff, your fee forever is $10 a month. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to put a plan together. We're going to meet every year. So really baseline, low fee. I want to help as many people as possible because I think it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you have someone that's really helping you and truly getting you to a better portion of life, that you can get out of whatever financial situation you're in, as well as, like you brought up real quick earlier, is create some generational wealth, right? If we can teach people younger and younger and younger better habits, and some of that starts from teaching the parents so that they can teach the kids, that their families, eventually we can get out of this cycle of we're always going to be at this level of life. We can break through that generational mold and create better lives for our future generations, our children, our grandchildren, stuff like that. So for me, it's to allow people to help them find what their financial freedom looks like and put them on that path to get there.
And fabulous. And make sure that ranch you find, buddies, handicap accessible so I can come out and visit, okay?
Of course. You let me know if you're ever in town. We'll go out for some food. We'll hang out for sure.
Absolutely. And Jake, tell me if people want to get connected with you, buddy, what's the best way they can do that?
Of course. So for me, I'm on all of the socials. A lot of my socials are just at Jake Hoffart, JakeHoffart, all one word. If you want to reach out by email, jake@modfinancial.com. Those are probably the few best ways. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that stuff. Those are my handles on all those.
Fabulous. Well, Jake, I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation about building financial and generational wealth and all the good work that you do to help people achieve financial clarity. But your work in the space and time on my behalf is most appreciated, and I want to thank you for being here this afternoon.
Of course, I love being here. I love chatting with you. We'll have to get to know each other a little bit more after this as well.